Items are an aspect of Smash Bros. The competitive scene doesn't pay nearly enough attention to. This is because items are turned off in the competitive rule set, so items don't come up much in competitive play. Okay, I kinda lied just now. Most competitive matches never see a single item get used, but certain characters have the ability to spawn items of their own. These characters range from bottom tiers to top tiers. Characters like Snake, Diddy Kong, and Rob have shown to be popular and competitive. That's not to suggest every item character is a competitive powerhouse, though. We still have characters like the Lynx or Bowser Jr. who are fairly strong but struggle to compete with the top tiers. But nearly every single item character is greatly improved by their item. Most are vital tools and neutral and advantage. Holding an item increases your threat range and damage potential. While you can Z-drop to access your aerials, holding an item on the ground means you only have access to your throws. There's a long history of Smash players throwing their item up in the air to extend its duration and still have access to all your normals. This allows you to threaten a column of air for a long time and gives you the opportunity to combo into and out of the item. Holding L on the character select screen while picking Samus and pressing start allows the player to start the match as Zero Suit Samus and spawn with 3 armor pieces. Those 3 armor pieces are all you get for the whole game, so you have to protect them at all costs. Use them to maximize your damage output and accept the loss of your items one by one. These items, combined with Brawl's very intricate neutral game, means Brawl's ESS is one of the coolest characters in the entire series. While looking at Ultimate again, there are a few forgettable faces, including item characters. Like, did you know Villager has an item? There's a 1/3 chance a wood chip spawns when cutting down his or her tree. It's also low-key the worst item in the game. Robin's main mechanic involves spending resources to use their specials and Levin Sword. But when Robin runs out of resources, the tome becomes an item. You can instantly pick this up by buffering back on tilt stick or immediately jumping and Z-catching. You can also continually buffer actions before the tome discard animation plays to time when your discard spawns in. This can be used at ledge to pressure your opponent setting up a ledge trap. When discards hit the ground, they bounce and then quickly despawn, but it's possible to grab them immediately after the bounce. While an item thrown directly up into the air will despawn when it hits the ground, the tomes can bounce with a Z-drop at a high enough elevation, or when thrown downwards. Robin's Levin Sword works similarly to the tomes. While it's generally not encouraged, you can take advantage of your Levin aerial's beginning auto-cancel window to use up Levin every time you land, and get a quick discard in case you'd rather go into the next fight with a Bronze Sword and discard than a Levin Sword. Tomes are particularly strong for Robin because they have low knockback, which makes them excellent for comboing into Robin's big but slow aerials and projectiles. With a variety of ways to spawn different discards, Robin ends up being the character that plays most similarly to Brawl's ESS. Difference being that Zero Suit Samus is crazy fast and her armor pieces are incredibly strong, but, you know, they both bounce their stuff around. There is a character that is more aptly described as a secret item character, King K Rool. When Smash Ultimate came out, everyone loved K Rool. Some people overhyped him because it was early in the game and he was a heavy and they saw King K Rool's reflector and forgot about the rest of the flaws of being a heavy. Eventually, people realized he's kinda really bad and has been ranked very low ever since. However, I disagree. I think he actually has the tools to keep up with a lot of the top tiers.
You've got to let this fat boy in your life.
King K Rool is a trapper character that likes to play at the mid-range, using 2 projectiles that either hit the opponent away or bring them closer. His attacks generally aren't amazing for combos, although he does have a few standouts, and you can usually find a high damage combo. His forward air in particular does massive damage and is only -5 on shield, making it extremely safe and highly rewarding, as it can lead to a combo or give K Rool a chance for set play, which is where his big damage and early kills often come from. And while his disadvantage and recovery are pretty ass, his ability to wall neutral is actually quite strong. The combination of armored attacks, projectiles, and a massive and versatile frame 5 up tilt allows K Rool to play a very passive and ignorant game. K Rool is able to make up for his lack of speed by abusing his actually pretty good initial dash. This minimizes risk to K Rool and allows him to focus on picking up on mistakes and punishing with his dash speed and armored attacks like F-tilt dash attack or side B. Once you get the hit, K Rool needs to go all out and capitalize as much as possible. He's constantly forcing rock, paper, scissors, except 2 of the options of armor and the third is unpunishable.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about it, right? Like, the whole time Poopy's winning the game, he's winning the game, and the one time Lukewarm gets a hit, it's right to even.
However, King K Rool also has an item. K Rool's armored side B has K Rool throw his crown, which acts like a boomerang. If K Rool isn't there when the crown returns, it lands on the ground and becomes an item. If thrown off stage, it will respawn randomly on the left or right of K Rool. The opponent can pick up the crown and use it like any item, but the K Rool player will instead automatically put the crown on his head and return functionality to side B. So K Rool can spawn an item in and can't use it. And just to top it all off, the crown deals high knockback and damage, making it one of the best items in the game. Over the years, I've heard many people lament King K Rool's inability to use his own crown. If he were able to, surely he would rise up the tier list at least a little bit. And last fall, in 2025, a Japanese K Rool player discovered a way to duplicate his crown by recatching the crown while in the blast zone off camera. The second K Rool's hurtbox touches the crown, he ends up putting the crown on his head. Eventually, Labbers figured out how to pick it up by letting another crown hit the floor to reset which crown is yours. Then after you put one on your head, you could pick up the other one, while still being very careful not to touch it. Now, having to be right in a blast zone in order to do attack is pretty risky. However, King K Rool is the best character at doing this because he's super heavy. He's got a recovery that goes very far at the very least. So the combination of weight and recovery means he can basically DI anywhere he wants to and just barely survive and then make it back to stage. I wonder if K Rool could set up the top blast zone version after a long Mr. Game & Watch combo. However, Deathless Crown duplications suffer from taking a long time and being pretty risky, as your opponent will try to stop you if they know what you're doing. The very original version of this glitch required you to sacrifice a stock, so it was only really viable if you were at high percent and would soon die anyway. In exchange for your stock, you get to respawn right where the crown respawns, and you can immediately pick it up without throwing another crown. This means you're much more likely to get the crown, as you can get to it before your opponent does. With the crown item, K Rool gets access to a ton of very high damage combos, and it improves his neutral greatly. If you're able to get the setup off in a match, it is worth it. Although one does have to wonder if it's worth the time to learn the item play and combos required for this niche and difficult tech. Overall, the tech does help K Rool a bit, and when used, makes King K Rool incredibly scary. But until a player is able to semi-consistently use it in bracket, it won't really affect his ranking. Our final secret item character is a character I've already made a video on. Sheik. Sheik's side B burst grenade becomes an item if Sheik is hit during the startup of the move. The shell is very small and difficult to see, but it stays out for a while, is very bouncy, and has relatively low knockback. Sheik could even have multiple out at once. Imagine a doubles team that keeps spawning a bunch of items and pelting them at you. While it does require being hit by the opponent to set up, that's actually not too hard to predict, and if your prediction is wrong, side B actually makes a surprisingly good zoning tool from far away. Its high damage and knockback makes it exceptionally valuable for Sheik, who struggles with damage and killing. But from what I know, players like Void, WebJP, and Rox haven't really explored this, as it's seen as being too hard and inconsistent. But if there's one thing I've learned from competitive Smash, it's that with enough dedication, even the most difficult things are possible. I think the future of Sheik lies in side B. Not just for the expansion to her combo game in neutral, which Sheik doesn't really need, but for the likely kill confirms that wait undiscovered. And you know what, yeah, also for the neutral. I want to see Sheik's neutral be even better. Alright, well, thanks for listening to me talk about some of my favorite item characters in Ultimate, and item play in general. Probably gonna make another video on item play because I didn't get too specific into how it really affects neutral. And this video was more about taking a look at some characters that I think are under-discussed. Everybody has been super doomer about Smash Ultimate lately, and while there are definitely some very annoying characters in this game, I think overall this game is great, even when you are fighting those annoying characters. And with all the improvements that the community has made to this game, like input integrity adapters, or the latency slider mod, or the 3-frame reduction and input lag mod, like, this game's pretty good now. Like, it's not rollback, but it's pretty close to offline. While Ultimate has been derided as inexpressive and shallow by a lot of characters, I think at this point, we've seen that there's a lot more depth to this roster than meets the eye.
Hey, little fat boy. Hey, little fat boy. Isn't he? Isn't he? Round.
Is that all? Try me. You're mine.